Ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to be checking out the various different build pieces as well as the endgame content Landsraad in the upcoming Funcome survival MMO Dune Awakening. So let's crack right on into it. So we're going to take information from Funcome's latest stream, and we will be going back to front from the stream as I feel like more people will be interested in hearing about how Landsraad works, the endgame gameplay loop, as well as check out some of the rewards a faction can get by winning that week's Landsraad. So what is a Landsraad? A Landsraad is a weekly endgame competitive gameplay loop that anyone can be a part of. You will need to align with a house as well as be in a guild. This guild can consist of just you or a Zerg, so it doesn't matter. Each week there will be various factions that can be found in the world that will provide different tasks. Players complete these tasks to get that faction's vote towards the Landsraad. The house with the most votes at the end of the week will win the Landsraad. The winning house will have 3 choices that can affect a house in many different ways. Guild leaders use their influence to vote for the change that suits them the best. During the stream, they explain the competitiveness of the Landsraad. For example, PvP guilds might be interested in the full loot deep desert weekly change, while other guilds in the same house might want the tool vendor as an example. So even though a house has won, there can still be some competition on what change actually goes into effect. To get started with the Landsraad, a player needs to join a house as well as be a part of a guild, be it alone or with others. You then need to find faction representatives in the world of Dune Awakening to unlock their tasks for your house. If some of the factions are not found, over time their tasks will unlock for your house. Tasks can vary from crafting vehicles, exploration, and holding capture points for PvP players, to name a few. During the stream, it was also mentioned that over time, more varied tasks will be added as the game develops. Landsraad is a server-side weekly event, so all the shards within that server will be affected by the Landsraad. You can be a part of a Landsraad alone, but due to how the mechanic of voting works, if your house wins, Zerg guilds are going to have the most influence on what changes will be coming that week. Guilds build voting points the more tasks that guild helps out with, meaning a guild with 20 people all working on Landsraad tasks versus a solo guild will have more voting power if their house wins. If House Atreides won this week, for example, guild leaders of that house will be able to use their voting points they have built up to invest into one of the 3 choices. It's because of this, guild leaders might want to seek out alliances with other like-minded guilds to sway the balance of the choice in their favor. To win a Landsraad, a house must gain the most faction votes, but there is also another way to win that can add a little strategy to how Landsraad is won. Tasks are portrayed on a grid-like board, and if one house completes 5 tasks in a line, they will win the Landsraad. So, paying attention to this Connect 5 board game is key to winning, as well as stopping your enemy house from winning the Landsraad early. Once a house has won, guild leaders of that house can use the points that their guild has built up via completing tasks to vote on one of 3 random choices for that week. The choice with the most votes will go into effect until the next Landsraad voting period. The choices are called decrees, and some of the decrees include access to various different vendors like armor, tools, weapons, etc., crafting costs reduced by 25%, melee or range damage increased by 33%, and full loot in the deep desert, to name a few. One of the big concerns with the Landsraad is, what if a server is heavily one-sided to any one of the houses? During the stream they mentioned that there is one system they could not talk about, so make sure you're subbed so you can keep up to date with any Dune Awakening news. The second system was a 3rd faction that will be introduced post-launch that will be to combat one-sided servers to bring the balance back amongst the houses. How this will fully work? We're yet to see, but it's good to see they're thinking about imbalance, as I feel like this is going to be a case on quite a few servers. Next we're going to talk about player trading. Dune Awakening will have 2 hubs, Arakeen and Harko Village. In these hubs you'll be able to see, chat and interact with other players, pay your plot taxes, as well as access your bank and the auction house. Auction house is a server-wide, so everyone on your server will have access to the same trade goods. I am personally excited to see this, as I love the idea of an auction house found in a lot of MMORPGs. Some of the things you can put in the auction house includes weapons, armors, schematics found in the open world, crafting materials, vehicle parts, base schematics, which I think is quite cool, as well as deep desert sectors you have surveyed. Something that I think is really cool is you can build really cool base designs that have amazing aesthetics or function, or even both, and try your luck posting schematics of your build on the auction house. Players will be able to preview your builds in the auction house to get an idea of what they're buying. I think this is really cool and quite unique, and I'm interested to see how this pans out. Base schematics are one-time use consumables, but one of the questions I have is, can someone who bought your schematic just blueprint your schematic and reuse your build? Time will tell. Another aspect to player trading is exploration and sectors you survey. The deep desert has over 80 different sectors that will change each week to promote scouting and surveying to find the best locations that are rich in minerals, as an example. Players can then sell this information on the auction house. One of the things spoken about on the stream was the idea that players can build a name for themselves, and other players on the server might start buying from a well-known surveyor, knowing that the information sold might actually be reliable and good. Something comes to mind though, that PvPers could also use this information to find high traffic areas in the deep desert to hunt down those farmers and take their loot. Last but not least, we're going to talk about the 3 different build types. The first being the Chome build type, which you can access through the tech tree, and personally I don't think looks too bad. Next we have the Atreides build style that is noticeably different. There is a lot more slopes and triangles, as well as green being a theme on the build pieces. This is my personal favorite building style and one I cannot wait to start playing around with. Finally, we have the Harkonnen build style, which has a lot of rounded pieces with a few sloped walls and some interesting faces. It has a black on black color scheme complementing that Harkonnen feel. One of the questions players had was, how many plots can one player have? The answer is 3 plots per person, but you can also be a part of someone else's plot and help build their base up too. During the live stream, there was a competition for some of the beta testers to come up with some fun and interesting builds, and the winners will get some prizes. So I thought I'd highlight some of these builds to give you guys some ideas, as well as a showcase of what you can do with these different build pieces. So while we're going through these amazing builds, I'm going to give out some of the information that went out during the Q&A at the end of the stream. So there will be no faction chat. You can build with both faction pieces. You can turn off your stations to have better power efficiency, so 1 fuel cell equals 1 hour of power. A third faction to be an anti-one-sided Landsraad server. You must pay taxes every 2 weeks. If not, you will get an overdue timer, which will be a further 2 weeks, I do believe. They weren't too sure about that, and if you miss out on that second tier of 2 weeks, you will then have your power switched off and the storm will slowly eat away at your base. Next, we have copied bases are a one-time use, and you can have up to 3 bases per person. And that's going to conclude this video. I hope it helped you guys out, and I hope you found it informative. I tried to condense a lot of information given during this live stream into a short video, so there were a couple of things I definitely missed out on, and I tried to tap into some of the most important things mentioned during the stream. But if you want to watch the full-length stream, I'll leave a link to that in the description down below. If you're interested in a condensed look at the combat showcase stream, I'll leave a link to that somewhere on the screen too. Either way, cheers all for joining me, thanks all for watching, and I'll catch you all on the next one.